was a movie that Bernie, Joel, and I made in college, and it was the first thing we did together as a filmmaking thing. And it was one of those things that we toured festivals and things like that, and we kind of all gelled as like a filmmaking unit because of that. Ultimately, we led Red vs. Blue, which is great. But it's one of those it's a story that we really like, and we are hesitant to put it out there because now it's like we made it in '96. So we're considering it, and we have considered it. So maybe at some point. So
I think before you continue, I'd say I think the idea, at least the goal, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that at some point we'll make some sort of a full-length feature.
At some point we'll probably make some kind of full-length feature.
That's kind of the idea behind the shorts and all that stuff, is for us all to kind of get, I don't know.
We have to remember how to turn the camera on.
Yeah, exactly. So
Geoff was the unfortunate beneficiary of the only failed RoosterTeeth short shot ever, which was one of our most expensive shots. We did this one where Geoff had an axe in his head. I had a screwdriver in my head. Joel had a butter knife or something.
Yeah, I think so. It took about an hour and 15 minutes to put that stupid axe in my head.
Yeah.
And it weighed like 30 pounds. It was very heavy. And and so they do that for one shot. And then we go and we film it. And I'm like, are you sure, guys? Are we good? Are we done? Because I want to take this thing off. It's brutally painful. And they're like, yeah, we got it. Great. It was on Friday. So I took it off, went home for the weekend, came back in Monday morning, and Matt and Brandon go, we got some bad news. It seems that nobody hit, nobody actually hit record when you did your shot, and we thought we hit stop, we actually hit record. And so we have like 3 minutes of footage after you took it off of just the office with people walking around, but we never actually got the shot. So they had to hire the guy to come back out and put it on my head again.
The shot actually started with, and cut.
It did, yeah. Like, cut, good job, guys, all right. Let's go get drunk.
And what made you pick Laser as your middle name?
My middle name is Laser, L-A-Z-E-R, by the way, like the American Gladiator. I was changing my last name for a family thing, and when I went to the courthouse to get my name changed, the guy goes, what do you want to do? And I was like, I just want to change my last name to Ramsey. He goes, if that's just your last name, you don't want to change anything else? And I was like,
I like that he's like upselling you.
I know. And I was like, I only got like $150, and he's like, oh, it doesn't cost any more. You can change the whole thing if you want. And I was like, oh, cool. And I looked at Griffin, and she goes, yeah. And I was like, what do you think? And she's like, I don't know, something goofy. And I was like, Laser.
Okay, then back here.
Best beer in Australia that you've had and best place where you've been?
Shit, that's a tough question. People take their beers so seriously.
Honestly, we haven't had sampled enough yet.
We've had a lot of James Bogue and a lot. Is that okay? That's not embarrassing? All right. Does it feel like if you guys came to America and we asked you that and you'd be like, well, I hear Bush is good, and then we'd punch you or whatever. We'll throw shit at us. VB, we've had some of. See. Yeah, okay. How about, what do you think the best beer in Australia is?
Southern Beer. All right.
Great beer's vodka.
Also that beer, the vodka beer. And then we both like Melbourne a lot. We've been there before, and we like Sydney too. I don't know. I like the zoo.
James.
Where did you get the ideas of the characters of Red vs. Blue's names? Like, because they aren't really that common, like Leonard Church and Bernie Stucker.
Well, some of Donut and Caboose came from Halo. Sarge was, he could only be named one thing. Griff is Dexter Griff, and Bernie always puts a Dexter in every thing that we make. He was the main character in the schedule was named Dexter.
Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting. Dexter Griff's name, it was actually Griff at first, it wasn't Dexter. And then as we started to flesh the series out, Bernie realized we only envisioned it being 4 episodes long. And and it started to grow. And so he started to kind of like flesh out the characters and make them, have actual characters. And he created the character Tex, and her name was actually initially Dex for Dexter. And then one of the guys we worked with said, "That's stupid, we're in Texas, why don't you just call it Tex?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense." And so he named her Tex and then threw Dexter as my character's first name. But the rest, yeah, I don't know. It's all from the mind of
Richard Simmons.
Yeah.
Do you guys know who Richard Simmons is?
You know,
Yeah. Crazy workout guy.
It looks surprisingly similar. Gus. Richard Simmons.
Michael Jacobs.
Similar lifestyles too. We're not called on yet. We had you, right? In the middle right here in that red split.
Are we guys jackets and stuff similar on Howard?
Are you gonna see Jack get slapped more on Hollywood? Jack's a lot bigger than I am. A lot bigger than I am. Those slaps hurt. I don't know.
Well, so would a stapler, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, you do what you gotta do. I'm fully convinced that Jack is gonna snap one day and kill me. So I'm trying to tone down this because I like my life.
Have you guys experienced much of the Australian gaming culture while you've been here? And like, does it differ very much from America?
Well, we heard about the Left 4 Dead butchering of that game. Butchering is the wrong word.
That actually just happened recently with
yeah. I mean, it's bizarre. So I guess there's like very strict rules on blood and violence.
Not really.
There's no RA.
Just in the video games?
No RA.
They screwed up submitting it to the ratings board.
Oh, really? Well, didn't Mortal Kombat just get denied?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you guys got banned. You got banned, right? Yeah. And you guys had trouble with Grand Theft Auto too, I think. Because of the
Grand Theft Auto has
4 killing rule, which is just a Wednesday night.
I mean, I guess if anything, that's probably the biggest difference.
You guys have a place called the Mana Bar. We don't have anything like that in America, so that's pretty cool. We don't have a lot of video game bars. Glasses, sir?
Did you give Gus your keys to your house again?
No. And for those, I guess, that don't know, I had Gus watch my house when I went away somewhere a couple months ago. And he, while I was gone, he sent me a different picture every day of him naked doing stuff in my house. Peeing in my plants and playing my Xbox naked. And then when I got home, there was a sign on the front door that said, "We had sex in your house." It was a star, he and his wife. And there were post-it notes all over my house that said, "Here, here, here." And we found about 1,000 of them. And to this day, still, every once in a while, I'll be like, let's move that picture over. We're still finding it. He swears we'll never find them all. They're still very deeply hidden through our house.
Did you have to get him back for that?
Gosh, I don't know. I probably, not that I can think of it. No. Oh, you know what I did to him? One time I signed him up for a quilting newsletter. And the average email size was 18 megs. Yeah, and he...
Getting an 18 meg email versus someone had sex in your bed.
Well, it's like 150 emails a day. And so it kept pop locking his email account for like a year. He couldn't get off the list. So I think he's still paying me after that. He
had sex on Geoff's quilts.
How about the grip ball shirt, sir?
I know you've had past military experience in photography. Is that
No.
Passport.
This guy right
Yeah. In the zombie emerging shoot, you being in the army, you're left-handed, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Why were you shooting with the right hand with the shotgun?
I shoot right-handed. Most left-handed people only are like half left-handed, honestly. Like we're so downtrodden and beat upon. We're forced to do most stuff right-handed.
Can I say the zombie immersion shoot Geoff and Gus, their marksmanship skills, that was not edited in any way to make them look better than they are. They were awesome. And we went out there, and after that, everyone took turns trying to shoot the watermelons, and they were really good. I mean, it seems maybe easy to shoot a watermelon head from like 30 feet away, but it's harder than you think, especially when those things are moving. And they nailed it. They were great.
Were you drunk?
was like 9 in the morning, so I was absolutely drunk. That was actually pretty scary because Gus went first and he was like 6 for 7. And I was like, man, he's just, look at him, you know?
He's all man Gus.
A husk of a shell of a man. And like, the idea that Gus could beat me was terrifying, so I was very happy to not get bested by him. You, sir.
How do you feel about Meat Boy?
Super Meat Boy, the game?
Super Meat Boy.
I've never played it. Have you? No, yeah, have you played it?
No, I just watched the one.
Xbox Live, yeah. That game looks hard. Like, games like N Plus and Super Meat Boy, I break a lot of controllers. And if I can identify that that something's going to get broken ahead of time, I try to stay away. It's very popular. I hear people love it to death. You, sir?
2 questions. First of all, to your knowledge, how much has what you've done with Red vs. Blue influenced the way games are made?
That's a really interesting question. The most interesting story I can give from that is that when Bungie was making Halo 2, right? It was Halo 2, not Halo 3.
Halo 2.
They asked us for a wish list of kind of like what would help you with machinima. We thought, wow, this is so incredible. We can't believe that they're asking us this. So we all got together and we talked about it, and everybody kind of like brainstormed. Like, we could have this, it would help with this, and we wrote this list. We tried to be very concise. It was like these 10 things in order of priority. We sent it off to them, and they said, "Great, thanks so much for this. We're definitely gonna do this. Also, we wanted you to know we fixed the bug where the characters' heads bob up and down."
Yeah, we emailed it back and we said, please throw that list away and then burn it and just put the head bobbing back in, for God's sake. But I don't know. I don't think we can take credit for any of that.
No, we can't take credit for any of it. But I mean, it's been cool because, like, when we did Strangerhood, which was our Sims thing, EA came to us because they just put the recording option into the game. So I think you did see a lot more of that kind of stuff, like in-game recording of the games to make movies. We can't take credit for it, but it was fun to be at the forefront of it.
Yeah, I think there was one time a video game company that was making a AAA title came to us and said, we want to put some machinima tools in. We'd like you to consult and help us come up with them. And we kind of started down that road, and then they literally one day said, we just decided to make the game good, and fuck all, there's just not that much time, so we're just going to make an awesome game, and then never mind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you should just make an awesome game. That's absolutely right.
And the other question I had was that between Doc, Sarge, and O'Malley, which was the best one?
O'Malley was definitely the best one. There was one time we were doing season 2 that Bernie and I were having a blast just doing it, and I was probably in the booth for like 2 hours, and we were just laughing our asses off, and that's when we came up with the whole Red Bull, tastes like Oblivion thing. Which is true. I had a Red Bull for the first time when I was here in Australia, and every word I said about that apparently is true. It does taste like Oblivion. But no, it's they're all kind of like fun to do. So we have a good time. Bernie, does a ton of voices himself, and some of the voices he does, I wanted to do myself, in particular Vic. Hey dude, what's going on? What's going on? Hey. That was a real friend of ours that we based that character on. So
I met that dude like 5 years into Red vs. Blue, and I thought he was doing an impression of Vic the character. We had dinner together. It took me probably 45 minutes to realize that he's actually that dude. Who the fuck is that guy really? I'm so sorry. That was like a cartoon character. You start with the glasses.
Are you ever gonna release Red vs. Blue on like Blu-ray or like release 1080 versions on the side?
We talked about Blu-ray. I think the highest fidelity right now for Red vs. Blue to purchase is the iTunes seasons 1 through 5. I don't know if that's made it to Australia yet, but they're in HD on some iTunes, which is cool.
I think
and
also
Xbox
Live.
Xbox Live.
You can get 1080 on Xbox Live.
So you can try those. We talked about Blu-ray. Blu-ray is very expensive to make, and it's just one of those things that's like a really huge technical challenge for us. That kind of stuff.
Why has Bernie been trying to break you up since the first podcast?
why has Bernie been trying to bring Nat and I up? Nat and I are